Palestinian Human Rights Activist, and joins us from Kafr Kana in Israel. Mouad, thank you very much for being with us this evening. Now, I wonder, we just mentioned what happened in Bat Yam yesterday. Can you describe what life is like right now in Kafr Kana?
Kafr Kana is a bit different since it's an all-Arab town. But talking about mixed cities that contain quite a sizable Arab population like Lod, Haifa, Akko, Acre, Jerusalem, of course, things there are extremely difficult and dangerous for Arabs. Not only there, actually, but also in main roads and in crossroads. And even in Arab towns or entrances to such Arab towns that exist close to Jewish settlements inside Israel, things are extremely dangerous. To be completely honest with you, all people now are fearful of leaving their houses, of driving in the main roads, because what's been happening right now, I mean, in the past 3 days, is that Jewish extremists are marching the streets, chanting death to Arabs, supported and protected by the police. We've seen footage coming from Lod city, which is where one martyr was killed by an Israeli civilian. He was shot dead. Pictures coming from there showing the police attacking Arabs who, take to the streets to protect their properties. And behind them, behind the police forces, those settlers run and chant death to Arabs. They do not disperse them. They do not push them back. They actually attack Arab civilians, Arab citizens who try to protect their properties and allow those extremists to sabotage and arson their properties. What's even worse is that ambulances that are mostly operated by the Israeli official Magen David Adom did not go to wherever Arabs were injured. Fire trucks did not even go to where Arab properties were burned down. So this is, of course, not to mention Netanyahu's statements. He didn't even ask his people to calm down. He said we will deal with
There was, I
can't even.
I understand, Mouad. I can see how upset you are. No, I appreciate that.
I'm not only upset. Listen, I am fearful for my life.
Well, this is precisely what I want to ask you then. I mean, how we heard some reporting earlier that traps are being laid, oil's being spread on roads. How are Arab Israelis being identified by these mobs?
We don't really have any means to fight back because, like I told you, ideally, you would call the police to protect you, but the police are the ones who are doing the assault. Like usually, when there were protests by Arabs to protest, what's happening in Al-Aqsa Mosque or what's happening in Sheikh Jarrah, we were suppressed by the police. We were killed by the police. Okay, that is no new story. But currently, Jewish civilians are the ones who are attacking us. Like, imagine that, now Jewish settlers coming from the West Bank, legal settlements of West Bank, armed, are walking the streets of Lod, which is an Israeli city, populated by both Arabs and Jews who used to coexist next to each other. They are walking the streets with their M16s on their backs and ready to shoot anyone who suspect is Arab. That is extremely dangerous. You can't even imagine the horror people are living in right now. This is unprecedented. This never happened. And Netanyahu and his authorities are giving full backup to that. Netanyahu, instead of saying, at least, okay, you can address both Arabs and Jews, or telling them to calm down. But no, he's saying we are letting the army enter the cities to protect our Jewish civilians, obviously, as if we are the ones who are doing the killing, as if we are the ones who are armed. Every Jew can carry a firearm because they serve in the army and the police. Arabs cannot do that. Arabs do not have arms to protect themselves. So currently we are facing a situation whereby we are targeted by the state, by the extremist Jewish citizens. Those constitute 70% of the Jewish population, according to polls, by the way, who endorsed and voted yes to a poll that asked them, do you endorse kicking the Arabs out of the country? So the media is, of course, not to mention the media's role, which further pushes incitement and provocation against Arabs. focusing the picture only on Jewish victims, but forgetting the thousands of Arab victims that are falling as we speak in the streets.
Mouad. Okay, Mouad Khateb, I appreciate your passion, sir. Thank you very much for that. Do take care, and thanks for being with us here on TRT World.